Oh, we have to show this one. All right, you little guys, come on over. Where are you? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, shit. Oh, there you go.
Wait.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I had this music on just because I didn't want to listen to Waypot.
Well, I don't blame you for that one. Right.
Okay. I hope Dale comes with his clips because last night
I know you scared him. He's probably not coming now.
he's brand new and he was like, I got all these clips. And then if you looked at the notes, Bad Bunny was saying, Dale, you have to share your clips. But
he's like, you should see the collection of content he has, and I'm like, well, come on, we need
yeah,
you.
but he can't show the video. So he's a video editor and we can only do the audio clips. We can't do the video clips.
Right, but
maybe that's why he's a little freaked.
Like I played the YouTube. If you play them, you'll just hear the sound, and you won't have to worry about the rest of it. So,
Too bad I screwed up. Hey, Steph, how are you doing down there in Wonderland? We're just shut the other show and open this show, and we're hoping Dale comes because good editor and creative person I am. I worked all day to have a really cool clippage for this show, and then I can't transfer my clips. Some of them were so freaking funny, and I cannot believe I can't play them.
They're locked on the cloud. They're locked on the cloud. So.
Yeah, well, that was a lot of work, but I was cracking myself up. So anyway, I'll put it on my other show.
I'll tell you, honestly, today I cracked myself up a lot watching some of this stuff today. But one of the things that I saw today too was that juror that kind of there was one thing that was said today, and the juror kind of actually even laughed and smirked a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, you about to be in trouble," It was the gallery already was getting in trouble too, but I was like, the jury probably shouldn't do that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Steph would know better than I know, seeing as she is just coming off of that knee-jerk jury thing, or you're not allowed to even have a twinkle in your eye or whatever, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. But I really wanted to play some funny clips in this clip hour, in this clip 30 minutes. And I can't. So that's irritating the crap out of me a little bit because I don't want people to be disappointed. But hey, come on up, you guys. Robert, hey, thanks for joining us. You probably are here to hear some really fantastic, funny clips also. But I can't do it. Steph, you want to pop up and just talk about what you think of? I'm sure you're not even watching. But you know what is interesting? I did not know that Amber Heard actually dated Elon Musk. I didn't know that. And I didn't know that he's going to be a witness. And that's going to be interesting. Do you think he's going to show up, or you think he's going to have to do it by video?
I don't know. And then he just bought Twitter, and Stephanie just got out of her room about that. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, he's just everywhere right now. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, he should be in space as far as I'm concerned, but anyway.
Yeah, well, I think that's how a lot of people feel. But I'm just saying, I also look at him and go, what's your motive for dating somebody like that? Because it's not, I don't know. I don't feel like they're in the same market, and they're not in the same caliber of, usually it's okay, so looks are the same, or your actors, or your money.
A billionaire that can have anybody on earth.
Yeah, your money is similar, but I guess it's just a matter of, and that's, again, an opportunistic person's going to pounce on that if it's available for them. So I guess that's
Well, it was James Franco and Elon Musk that she dated or was with in that time of question when she had the bruise or not. So, it was May 22nd to May something or other, but in between that time frame, or August, I don't know, I'm so burned out on it now. But
yeah. So
that's when they saw her, so they can testify whether she had a bruised face or not.
yeah, and we didn't really get into a whole lot about the fact that um, this was all coming down when Johnny's mom was sick and dying,
Right.
and all of this stuff was coming down, and the what you call it, the divorce papers or whatever were like, the divorce was getting done and the accusations were in the news like just within days of his mom passing away. It was just, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like all of it was a little bit
Oh,
not
shoot.
not great.
It's
It
being
just really wasn't.
simulcast.
Oh, you do that
I'm
all the
not
time.
simulcasting this show. Are you simulcasting this show?
No, I can't. I'm
But
not
you
even a
have a globe
producer.
on your head. So
On
you
my head,
are.
that's somebody who's no, that's somebody who's sharing. Oh, I'm not. No, no, no. I'm sharing the link with my niece. I'm not
Okay,
simulcasting.
but you are simulcasting I'm basically simulcasting to YouTube. It automatically simulcasts my shows to YouTube, and I do not know how to turn that off. I've turned it off 1,000 times, and it still does it every time. So, hey, YouTube, hi. I mean, my shows just
Yeah,
go right to my YouTube channel. So,
yeah. No, I didn't do that.
all right. So, here, what we
I don't
can
think I
do.
can do that actually.
Here's the attorney for Amber Heard. Let's see if I can get her to play. So we'll play some stupid clips.
In his cheek. The testimony is going to be that he self-mutilated on a number of occasions and burned himself in the cheek and also cut himself. But Amber never did that. And you're going to hear from the experts testifying about this finger injury and how fantastic this version is. But the other part of it was he was with Marilyn Manson for the week before, scoring on cocaine. You'll see text messages of him getting it from his handlers, the cocaine and the liquor. And you'll hear so much before that. But Amber gets there, and instead what he does is he takes 8 to 10 tablets of ecstasy almost immediately. And the next 3 days are just a cycle of very, very, very violent activity by him. Amber keeps trying to calm him down. She tries to get him to eat. She tries to get him to sleep. She tries to do these things. And he would just, he was, at times delusional, paranoid. He would be, mad at somebody else. Then he'd be mad at her.
Why isn't that
and by the way,
hearsay?
we'll talk about the prenup, but he called her lawyer, who she had because she wanted to give him a prenup, and then they got married too quickly, so she was going to give him a postnup.
It's just the opening
He
statement.
called the lawyer
I know.
from Australia, called her a bitch, and fired her. You'll hear the testimony from the lawyer on that. That's the type of Johnny Depp that was there, and he didn't want the postnup, he didn't want the prenup, but now they're going to tell you that it was her that was mad. You're going to hear she had a lawyer and she was cooperating completely on that. So as you go through those 3 days of Australia, some pretty horrendous things happen to her. He rips off her nightgown. He has her jammed up against a bar. He has hurled bottles and bottles at her. He has dragged her across the floor on the broken bottles and the liquor. He has punched her. He has kicked her. He tells her he's going to fucking
dragged
kill her.
her
He fucking
across
hates
the
her.
glass,
He's pounding at her, pounding her. And then he penetrates her with a liquor bottle.
Too bad it didn't break.
That's the Johnny Depp that you're going to hear about in this case.
And I mean, maybe she was into that, I don't know.
Well, okay, I'm glad you've brought this up now. Just kidding. But listen, how does that happen? You catch her, you punch her, you drag her across the floor in the broken glass, you're screaming at her, and then you take a booze bottle and you penetrate her with it. What is she doing this whole time? What is she doing? Just like, drag me some more, Johnny, bruise me some more, hit me some more, Johnny. Here, let me put my legs, open up my legs so you can shove a whiskey bottle up my you-know-what.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying that violent, vicious things don't happen, right? Typically, that's kind of that Jack the Ripper style type of things
That's the kind
don't
of
happen.
violence that is, yes, that's a weird kind of violence, right? That's like a fantasy violence.
So, the reason I said what I said was that usually people who would even consider doing that have done stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even saying it happened. Who knows? That could just be a lie. It could be her when she's recording saying, well, you want to do this again? Or you want to hit me? Or you want to, whatever she's saying while she's recording without permission or without him knowing. At some point he sees her recording and she's like, yeah, I'm recording. I mean, and I'll stop if you tell me you don't want me to. And he's like, record. And go ahead.
She goes into a lot of detail in her little recordings, like too much details about standing against the wall and over to the left and over to the right, and then there's this and there's that and the other thing. Everything is so like contrived, and she's saying it for a reason. You know what I mean? She's saying it because she knows that people can't see what's around her, so she's kind of staging and setting it up, right? All in all, I just think, I'm interested in hearing what her testimony is going to be. Not really, huh? Oh, Dale, you're here. Do you have the clips? You got the goods? Come on, Dale.
I know, I keep wanting him. I just want to know what he's got. Okay, but here's something that I wanted to. I'm going to share while we're waiting for Dale to agree. Invite him because I don't have. Controls.
I invited him, but
she will hit the wall hard. 4 exclamation points.
This is me.
And then later down you say, I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Did I read that right?
Objection compound.
I'll allow it. Mr. One.
You read that correctly.
And this wasn't the first time that you talked about Amber hitting the wall hard. Let's pull up Exhibit 213, please.
Oh gosh,
Hitting the wall hard based on the accusations that she brought. I'm sorry, I was talking. Is that all right?
We'll take a look at the next element. Thank you.
As long as you're happy, sir.
These pauses in between.
Mr. Depp, this is a text that you sent to Bruce Whitkin on February 4th, 2014. The text at the top of the page.
Where am I looking, sir?
On your screen, please.
I figured that out.
The top text on the screen.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a specific, if it was third from the bottom or somewhere around the corner. What would you like me to do?
This is a text that you sent to Bruce Whitkin on February 4th, 2014, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move for admission of this exhibit with just that text displayed.
What does it say?
Applied and also the identifiers.
It's not up yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Redaction
We have that.
identifiers.
We have that ready.
All right. 213 evidence with redactions.
There's so much red tape to go through to just get to one thing.
That's why I brought it all
Yep,
into
on February
GarageBand so I
4th,
could get rid of that
2014,
shit.
You tell Mr. Whitkin, Amber and I hit the wall hard. You see that?
I do, sir.
And that's the same phrase that you used in your text to Mr. Carino from 2016 that we just read, correct?
With my ear slippers
They
pointed out
are
the fact that I was
similar
wearing
words, but they have different meanings.
Can we
I
pull
don't know
up
if that makes
exhibit?
the
sense.
fact that I was wearing them in front of
Exhibit
about
I don't know what that
498,
noise
please.
is.
Are you playing this clip, Deanna?
I am. Do you want me to shorten it? I don't know. It's only 2 minutes. It's about
Seems
to
like
end.
forever.
Yeah, I know, because that's how it sounds when we're trying to listen to Johnny talk. Okay. That was the end of it. But it just was the whole point where they tell him to read it, then they ask him a question. No, he reads it. He says, "Is that what it says?" He says, "Yeah, you read that correctly." Like, good job. And then he says, "That's you talking to Amber or whatever," and he goes, "What text is that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then whatever he says in the middle of that, and he cuts him off, but he hadn't really answered anything. He just made a statement to to move forward with what he was supposed to answer, and the guy just cut him off and said, "No, you answered. That's enough."
I honestly,
He's
I
like,
honestly feel as though these attorneys are probably getting paid a whole bunch of money, and they just want this thing to drag on as long as possible. Because honestly,
"Oh, shoot! I did something. Hold on. I don't know how to stop this. Oh, I didn't do that.
When is
Wait,
Miss Heard's
I didn't do
birthday?
that on purpose. My fingers accidentally hit something. I'm sorry.
Dale, do
They
you
are
have?
making a lot of money."
Yeah, Dale, do you have your clippies to share with us?
I don't think I have anything that you don't already have. I mean, you played the slippery whore one, didn't you?
I can't hear you. We can't barely hear you. You need to get closer to your microphone.
Yeah, I've had mic problems. No, I don't have anything that you haven't already played. I'm just drawing for, and the audio quality is very bad on what they're giving us. I did the one on the slippery whore, but I think you already played that.
We did?
What slippery whore? No.
I don't think we played that.
Testimony. I can't say it because I think I'm supposed to not say bad words on Fireside, but
Really?
yeah, he talks about
Wendy
Amber.
says bad words all the time.
Yeah, he refers to Amber as a slippery whore.
Mm.
And what?
I sent it to Bob. Send it to Mr. Bunny. Our very good Mr. Bunny. So he has it, but he probably will think it's inappropriate. But I just edited some. It's only 30 seconds, but it's a woman in slippers, and then he's talking about donating his to Amber Heard, slippery whore, when he stayed with her. It was the best clip of the testimony, to be sure. And I didn't listen to it all because I'm so sad because I want Depp to be making movies with this time. So I'm just sad that he's not making movies now.
Me
And
too.
Well, he hasn't been making movies since 2016.
Yeah, and he's probably clinically depressed and alcoholic, but it breaks my heart because I'm crazy about him as an actor and all he's done for me, and he's a very unique actor that you can tell. I'm sort of like, I can't bear to watch this stuff. It's a waste of time. But yeah, you're right. Their attorneys are making lots of money. That can't be bad, of course. Can you hear me better now? I just have my mic got messed. I'm buying a new phone.
Yeah, you just sound a little far away. Hey, Bad Bunny, why don't you come up? Come on up and talk. Come on, Bad.
He's my buddy. We have some cool plans planned for Fireside. We think Fireside has a very bright future. We keep getting ideas. It's great to meet people like you too. You guys.
Oh, thanks. So I don't know. I'm looking for the slippery whore thing on YouTube, trying to find a clip. But
slippery whore.
I'm just.
It sounds like slippery bark. Take a little slippery whore before you go to bed, and you'll sleep well tonight.
The only problem is that earlier he said J-I-double-Z, but yeah, that's the best quote. I've never heard a woman described as a slippery whore. I've heard women described as slippery, and I've heard women described as whores, but nobody put those two together. But
right? I mean, what kind of talent is that?
This is talent, my friend. We have to support him. We need to send him a clip of this. Come on, Johnny, get out of there. I mean, what's the deal? I just give her 10 grand or take 10 grand from her.
He gave her $7 million.
Oh, I know that story, and this was not dispersed. Oh yeah, I listened to the podcast.
And the defense of that was it was always meant to be a pledge and dispersed over time, which is fine. I work with lots of nonprofits. I understand how a pledge works and that you disperse it over time, and that's okay.
I believe the disbursement was never started. I mean, she still had that money in her account when they checked into it.
Why do you sound so far away, Dale? Can you just get closer to your...
I dropped my phone. I'm getting a new phone tomorrow. It comes and goes. I'm sorry. It's an electrical problem. So I'll let Bunny speak for me. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's just hard to hear you. Yeah.
If you get a little bit closer, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm kissing my mic. Something's wrong with the mic.
That's right.
Okay.
Sounds better.
So, so I don't know. I got two conflicting stories about that. One was that she did 250,000 somewhere, and one was that she didn't do anything. And then one was that she had done this 250,000 and then stopped doing anything with the pledge because there's no deadlines for the pledge. And now she's having to foot this big legal expense, so she can't do what she said she was going to do.
But let's be real here. Sure, you might want to. No. 7 million and you only put 250 out. That's nothing. Do we
And the
agree here?
fact that your ex-husband feels like he is capable of suing you for $50 million means that you probably have 7 million to just give away. You don't sue somebody for $50 million if they can't access $50 million.
Yeah, I mean, rich people, and they're not wealthy, but they're rich. And rich people and their problems are kind of like, hey, whatever. By the way, Mia Farrow, I mean, I don't know what side you are in that. I'm sort of on
Mia Farrow? Mia Farrow?
Yeah.
Mia Farrow?
Yeah.
Who the hell is Mia Farrow, Dale?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, thanks.
She was so good on Rosemary's Baby. I'm not going to drag her.
Oh my
She was
God.
basically trying to extort money out of Woody Allen by.
We know, but it's not relevant. It isn't relevant because Mia Farrow is like from, like I was a kid and I'm 67. I was a kid when Mia Farrow was like, come on.
Yeah, likewise. I had to see her later on, but
Not relevant.
Same thing, though. I mean, look at me in the 70s, and I'm going to the movies every weekend, and I do see Take the Money and Run by Woody Allen, and I don't know why. I think I lost a tennis match. I was sad. I was kind of an emotional young man, and I was sad, and I went into the theater, and I watched Take the Money and Run, and it totally cheered me up. So I've been a fan of Woody Allen ever since. But there was one guy online who kind of went for bat for Woody Allen. He kind of points out he was like,
he cracked me up.
Yeah, so if you want to buy a Woody Allen is innocent shirt, he sells them for like $8.
Okay, enough with the Woody Allen, Dale. Enough with the Woody Allen.
Hit my mic. I'm sorry. I got to talk about
Wrong show.
Yeah, Dale. Okay, Dale, you're going back down to the audience.
That's okay. Bring money. Hey, nice talking to you. You take care.
Okay.
See you guys later.
Wendy, you put yourself in the audience.
Hey, Wendy.
Now you got to put yourself back up.
That's so funny. That's funny. Whoops. Okay, so Dale, sorry, here you go. You're going down.
Thank you. I'm honored to be put down by you.
At least we know that the maker of the show can go to the audience and not stop the show.
I'm going
There
down.
you go.
Okay, bring up Bunny.
Okay, remove from stage.
Maybe he's ready now.
Is he?
I don't know. Invite him. Let's see.
Bunny, you got to come up. Come on. What's wrong? Yes.
Hello, Wendy. Hello,
Yay.
Deanna.
Hey.
Lovely to finally speak with you, Deanna. I sent you a few messages on Instagram. I don't know if you got them. But
I did, and I replied. I took you right out of my request box. It just took a minute.
You know what? This is when we got to play that clip really quick. But back to staying on track with the show here. Woody, you know how I feel about you. But yeah, watching this long court case has been. I do this while I'm doing cardio and stuff in the gym, and I'm just like, what am I listening to? What am I hearing and watching? And then I talk about this with my fiance, and she agrees with Wendy. Same thing, and you two haven't spoken, but you said the same word, narcissistic. And you got to wonder where that comes from.
Mm-hmm. Well,
from Amber Heard,
right? But clinically speaking, a lot of times it is a chemical malfunction, and you may not be able to really actually fix that. So if it's revealed now, buyer beware for anyone else. You know what I mean? Because I don't think it's something that actually, it's not something you actually can control. Oftentimes they don't relate the way most people know how to relate to things.
You know what's interesting is that Okay, so my situation was I was only with this person for like 2 years. We had my son and my oldest son, and I had I guess you would call him a stepson at the time. He was about 10 years older than Wyatt. And later on down the road, we all lost connection with Brent. But then he came back into our lives later on, maybe 10 years ago. My son was super happy because he found his half brother, all that good stuff. But Brent had said that, and it's been many, many years since, he was right in the face of all of it. He was the only person that really saw what happened. That his dad never did that to anybody else, but he only did that to me. And so whenever I would see the girlfriends afterwards, like they would come around maybe to visit Wyatt every once in a while, and he would have a girlfriend, I would be like, you can tell me if you're okay or not. I was like giving him the eye and giving him the messages like it's safe. You can tell me if you need help or call me, if you need to escape or whatever. And I didn't realize that years later, I found out that I was truly the only one that this guy ever was just so. Now, he grew up in New Orleans. He was very poor in New Orleans. He was a black belt in Shotokan style karate. And he dropped out of school when he was in, I think, like junior high. And he said that he would beat up the kids getting off of the bus, just to practice his karate. This is the kind of asshole he was. So it wasn't like I was the asshole. He just maybe realized, to your point of where people maybe can't ever change, that, I had to plan my escape, right? I had to do it in the middle of the New Orleans airport. Because I was so fearful of being killed. And so I planned my escape. But he didn't care, right? But maybe he did reflect at a certain point in his life, and he never didn't beat anybody else after that. I don't know, but
well, so he may not have been a true narcissist.
It could be hearsay, by the way.
It could be. He may not be a true narcissist, or flip side of that, which I say this about my ex is, so he got into another relationship, another marriage, where she was a little psycho, and he got a little taste of his own medicine, but he never did to her what he did to me. And I confronted him about that and said, he's like, you're the one who brought that out in me. Like, again,
of course, it was your fault, Deanne.
Right. You're the one who brought that out. I don't do that to her. I said, that's because you don't care about her. You don't love her. She doesn't matter to you. If she mattered, she would be able to push your buttons. If she mattered, you would be, whatever, I don't know, it's not protective, but possessive. You would be possessive of her if she mattered, if you cared, if you loved her, but you don't. So if you don't have that level of emotion or connection to the person, then that person is just expendable. You don't care. Right. And so that's another piece of the puzzle when it comes to that type of narcissism. They can truly have feelings where they feel like they are in love and you are their person and all of that. I mean, I think you hear that in some of Amber's testimony, where she goes from screaming and yelling to don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. What do I need to do? What do I need to do? That is a manipulative, controlling way of trying to keep the person that you think you have some connection with, that you want to stay with. I mean, you will be disposable the minute that they're done with you and ready to be disposed of, but not until then, and so I do think that plays into part of it. Now, obviously, I'm not diagnosing your ex-husband. I'm not really even diagnosing my own ex-husband, even though I feel like I can. And I'm not diagnosing Amber Heard. It's just the patterns of what they seem to put forth.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Bunny, you have a clip?
So this is a show about clips, and
do you have clips? Because I screwed up my clips.
Do. Yeah, I know. Let's get to the clips here.
Do it.
Pause for hearsay.
We're going to fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Yes, I can feel it. I need to have a conversation with Ms. Heard.
Let's move beyond the conversation that Sean Murphy had with Ms. Heard.
Can't say that you carried cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some cocaine.
I love that one.
You sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings too, right?
Isn't happy hour any time? Look at a very ugly situation with Amber. So
Mr. Depp, with respect, trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was simply, you would agree that on objection call.
So the ending of that clip was video, and it basically showed the Amber Heard's team just talking amongst themselves. For like fast forwarded, they were just quiet, like just whispering to themselves towards the end after they were done cross-examining him. So it seems like they're struggling and they're reaching. This is where the text messages come in. This is when the Elon Musk comes in, and a lot of Johnny Depp's ex relationships have come forward and said he's never been abusive to me. So, but no one from Amber Heard's past has come forward as of yet that I'm aware of.
Well, no, they did the testimony of her makeup person, of her assistant for a very long time, and she was like, you know, she was ready to just tell everybody to screw off, basically. You know, she had nothing nice to say about Amber Heard.
Well,
Nothing.
and the other thing is,
Yeah.
and the other thing is that I've heard or I've read in print that people have said, just look at the wake of people and how the chaos just follows her like everywhere she goes. I mean, Johnny came out of a 14-year or so marriage. Now it ended, but his wife's not going around saying, or his ex-wife or girlfriend, they weren't married, but saying that that he did all of this stuff to her. Now maybe there were other things that she was not willing to continue to be in the relationship. Maybe she was tired of the cycling of the drugs or the alcohol or all of that stuff, but never did the abuse come into the conversation, at least not so far. I'm going to read real quick what my niece is saying because she's texting me because she's still not approved yet. She just got tonight, so you know how Fireside likes.
You just give her the VIP link so she can be an automatic audience member.
I did, and
Oh.
it didn't do it. It made her go through the process and said she's waiting. Anyway,
You know, speaking about that, a lot of people have been complaining about the links. Like I've sent links to attend your show that are already part of Fireside and have went and been approved already, and they can't come here for some reason. When I send them the broadcast, share.
Okay. So what happens is every time you share a broadcast, it just takes you to the internet, a browser, and asks you if you want to sign up. So for those people who are already on Fireside, it's just easier if they go follow Wendy and then go RSVP to her shows. Because if you try to go through the link, it doesn't actually just take you into the app. It doesn't. It needs to do that for people. It needs to do that for people who are actually already on the app, but it does not.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's something that should be brought up to.
That sucks because I was sending out my VIP link a lot today, and that answers that question.
There you go. Anyway, so she said, here's something else that I'm saying. Johnny had all of the hearsay and Amber has no hearsay. And she said, well, not none, but she's saying that, maybe Johnny's attorneys aren't objecting enough. She's not, she doesn't know exactly how all of it works, but, that part, it's a little bit true, but we haven't gotten to Amber's testimony yet. And I think when we get to Amber's testimony, there might be a lot of objecting going on Johnny's side. But if you watch it, Johnny's side does object a lot when he is on the stand. There was one spot where the guy kept asking the same exact question and changing one or two words in it, and the attorneys kept going, I object hearsay, or I object, foundation, whatever they were objecting on. And then they asked it again, and he's like, asked and answered, and then they would ask it again, and it would asked and answered. They asked the question like 8 times.
Do you think it's a strategy of a tactic of just to get people irritated and exhausted?
No, so the analyst said it's because they want to impress something onto the jury. And they said, what do you think the jury is onto it? And he's like, the jury will be onto it, and they're also going to be instructed of what really matters in the case when they go in and have to make a decision, and actually have to go through all the transcript, which is going to be more of what matters, because all of that stuff won't be on the transcript.
Have they shown any of the jury yet? Have they shown a picture of the people on the jury? Do they show the jury? They don't,
no,
do they?
They haven't shown the jury. The only reason I know a jury member laughed was because a person in the courtroom for the news channel said one of the people
on the jury cracked up,
kind of covered their mouth but chuckled a little bit.
Well, they can always replace a jury member, right, with a alternate.
Yeah, but she said rephrasing the question to try to catch Johnny off guard. Well, they can rephrase the question to get him to get caught off guard, but if his attorney objects, then he won't answer the question anyway.
Well, all I have to say about all of this is that I'm happy that Johnny Depp's testimony is over. Because if his whole fucking family spoke just as slow.
His sister talked very similar to him. Not quite as slow, but very similar.
Pretty slow. Very thoughtful, very diligent, very like they both are afraid that they're going to get slapped if they say the wrong thing, actually. But it's irritating. It's like an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. They basically say, if you really want to get along with somebody, you meet them at their voice, right? Meet them at their energy of their cadence of their voice, at the tone of their voice. People who talk high and really fast like this, they like to be with people who talk really high and fast like this. Right? People who talk slow and diligently like to be around people who are thoughtful and talk like that. So it made me rather nuts, cuckoo doodle. I couldn't bear it. It's been 3 days of listening to him. At first, I was very intrigued. Today, I got anxious.
Yeah.
Today, I was like, it is enough already. You guys could have fit this into 1 day testimony, maybe 2 days, right? Yes. If there wasn't so many pauses.
Oh yeah, the way they're handling the
horrible. It's horrible.
Everything on the screens, and then the screen's malfunctioning, and then they restart this screen so he can see it, and that's it's a mess. And then
it's some obscure court in Virginia, right? It's like, and if you look at the people that are outside, actually,
some pretty decent tech for an obscure court in Virginia.
Well, why wouldn't they have tech? I mean, a lot of the tech companies are actually in like Reston and McLean.
I was going to say, I don't think we have all of that here in some of our courts.
Well, you're in New Orleans, honey.
Well, okay, not New Orleans. I don't know. I haven't really been to court here, but across the lake when you have to go in to, do your stuff over there, like even in the divorce court, they don't have all of that.
Oh, well, anyway, besides the technology factor, it's the human factor we're talking about. And the human factor is that, he's boring. He's a little boring. That's all.
As my niece said the same thing. She's like, okay, I want to hear your story, but come on, you got to pick up the pace.
Well, I have this great clip of him going up. This is all in my stupid clips of him going up. He goes up to the podium. He goes, where are we? Where am I? Where am I? Am I at a roast? What is this? And then all of a sudden he says, I'm bored. I'm board, director of the board. I'm bored. And that's all he says. It was a perfect clip for me to insert somewhere to be, and I had that all going on. So yes, Bad Bunny, I was really working on it, but like I said, couldn't transfer.
So bring that up for us. by these
I could bring up 2 more clips, but the thing is,
the hashtags. I want to hear about
the
that.
hashtags. Yeah, I mean, there's some disturbing things that I heard about. I want to ask if you've heard about it and how you feel about it, and that's the hashtag Amber turd.
Oh yes. Well, that's a yeah. So I mean, that's just
And
I
how
think
this affects like her, like how embarrassing is that?
yeah. So I mean, did she poop in the bed? I mean,
I mean, honestly, I
that's
feel like that's almost irrelevant to the case itself. I mean, is
it's
Yeah.
that abuse there?
well, no, it is. The problem with a defamation case, which is what I'm learning, is that
Mhm.
there's nothing irrelevant because it's all about character.
Wow,
Character. It's all about character.
It's about
that makes
character,
sense.
and it's about whether or not you can prove that there was abuse. So, which also
Mhm.
goes back to character. So you have to lay a foundation of character, and then you have to build from that foundation as to whether or not there was actually abuse. So you drag it literally brings everything's on the table. Just
Hmm.
anything and everything is on the table.
In a
Mhm.
And
defamation suit.
And we're
right,
gonna head into this next clip really quick
go
because
for it.
we're here at the final 10 minutes.
Okay.
Were you there? Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp. Let's object to another one. Again. Okay. So, the boss. He said, yes, they have. Okay. It appears that Ms. Heard had told hearsay. Did I read that right? You did. Did I read that correctly? You did. Okay. Did I read that right? Yes, you did. Did I read that right? You continue to read them right. Objection. Call for it.
So, that's just a compile of how many
I
times
know.
he's like, "Did I read that right? Yes, you did.
Yes, you
Did
did.
I read that right? Did I
Yes, you
read
did.
that right?" And it's like, how many
You
times
can
does he have to ask him that?
you
There was
continue
one
to
I
read
did
that
where
right.
it was Keenan Wyatt, and he was, and it was, I titled it, I don't know. And it was just a continuous her asking the sound guy, right? His sound guy,
Mhm.
again and again and again. And he'll go, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Right.
know. So you don't know? No, I don't know. Are you saying that you don't know? I don't know. Are
And
you
every
don't?
incident, I still don't know.
Oh my God. Oh, oh.
Now, I do understand that part of them, like when you read a text message and you ask the question, "Did I read that right?" It's because the court reporter is putting everything into a transcript so that later the jurors are going to take a look at that and they're going to read what the attorney read, and then they're going to see that Johnny agreed with that. And so that's why his attorneys have to come back and redirect, because yes, you read it correctly, but you don't know the context of what it means, and you're not asking me that question. And
Sorry.
Whoa, what was that?
Sorry, that was just, I have to put my microphone. I'm finding a clip and it just
You know
slipped away.
what?
Sorry.
While we're doing that, I actually had a quick question about this clip.
I woke up and walked out into the living room, and I saw my mother, very feebly, and almost, it was like a slow motion crawl. If I could stand up, I could show you just what I saw. Do you mind? You can stand up. Thank you. I saw my mother, in that mode. So instantly, I knew something was dreadfully wrong, and there was drool coming out of her mouth.
What in the world? First of all, I just want to ask, what?
I didn't hear that today.
me
I
either.
never heard that about the crawling across the.
Oh
I didn't
wow!
hear
You
that
know
either,
what?
but it was. I don't think.
I gotta send you everything because like me and my team, we were just looking at everything because there's so much stuff you got to sift through. There's
Well,
so much stuff there, and then to make these
Yeah, it's
clips,
hard, huh?
you can't do it alone. You really can't.
Yeah.
no, well, so today was the first day like I watched just like the whole thing front to back, just live. I just stuck it on the TV. Actually, I was a little late starting, so I saw not the whole thing, but I saw pretty much everything today. But the rest of the days, I've just been watching clips here and there, but you can go see the whole live production for 8.5 hours if you just sit in front of it on YouTube. That Law and Crime place has it live, and so does Court TV.
You have to watch the one of the assistant, Amber Heard's assistant. She is like, yeah, here.
Just tell me generally everything you recall.
It's too long ago, Mr. Rottenborn. I don't recall.
Do you recall anything?
No.
Where was the meeting?
At his residence in West Hollywood.
Is that his residence? What? I'm sorry.
In West Hollywood.
What time of day?
Anyway, she's boring, but she really is accusatory about Amber Heard is a bitch. Let me just add this, just so you know. So you know how they always mention the Eastern Columbia building?
Yeah.
Okay, so Johnny Depp, just so you guys know, here in LA, Johnny Depp owned the top floor of the Eastern Columbia building. The Eastern Columbia building back then was located, it's an old Art Deco original building here in Los Angeles. It is not located in the best part of LA. It's a cool building. I almost bought a condo there back then because Johnny Depp owned the penthouse, actually. Not ridiculous. But it was a long time ago, and when he bought them, and he owned the top floor, and I guess it was the 3 penthouses. But to think that they were really super special or whatever, it just happened to be that he invested in these things back in the day when that area was really not a good place to live whatsoever, and nobody wanted to live there. Right. And now, of course, downtown LA is a whole different story, but you have to remember that that was a long time ago. And then his place on Sweetser is known, it's just a street, and I'm sure it wasn't a big mansion. There is no big mansions on Sweetser. There's nice houses, it's tree lined and all that stuff, but it's West Hollywood. There's no big mansions. So to think that, his lifestyle was, they make him out to be, well, he's got, penthouse 1, penthouse 2, penthouse 3, then he's got Sweetser and he's got this and he's got that. Well, nobody is really talking about Johnny Depp having this huge compound like Brad Pitt does, or all of these other people that have all of this godly money, right? And they have these $20 million estates, or even the Kardashians, how they live. So, he's always been kind of I think in LA and around town, Johnny's always just been Johnny Depp, and he's a nice guy. He scared the shit out of me one night in the parking lot. I didn't know he was there. And yes, it was kind of one of those things, but it was funny. And he's just that way. Keanu Reeves is the same way. This would be like somebody basically saying that Keanu Reeves is a wife beater, right? I mean, they're just the nicest they're nice guys, genuine from the soul. And that's why it bothers me that his whole career, his family, everything had to be compromised because of a narcissistic bitch that wanted to marry him the moment that she met him. Another sign, right? And then it turned very quickly into hell on earth for him.
Yeah, and he's not in the media light outside of press coverage or for whatever promoting or whatever. He's not really like he's not out in front of everything very much. He kind of keeps to himself as much as possible. I mean, all of them are somewhat in the press.
Most actors are introverts, basically, right? Yeah. They are, and they're serious people who they're actors, right? And there are a lot of them, but that doesn't mean that they all have celebrity, right? And when you have celebrity, you've given up your right to privacy. except for when you're in public places. Like if you go, that's why paparazzi can't follow you into a store. They can't follow you into a restaurant. But when you're in the public area, the paparazzi can have a heyday because you have allowed yourself to be a celebrity. So you have to
you
give
gave
that
them
right of
access,
privacy.
right?
Mhm.
So my niece said, I saw that clip that Bad Bunny just played and said,
We have one last clip, if I may.
okay, let me finish reading this real quick. He got up and demonstrated how his mom was crawling and walking after his dad left. So that's what he was testifying to at the time, and had been listening to him. She said she had been listening to him and pausing it, him pause his way through this testimony. And so she had to go back and rewatch it, but that's what it was about. So apparently he was testifying after his sister, because his sister had testified a little bit about this too, about his mom's reaction to when the dad left after he decided he couldn't take it anymore. So that's what that was
It was
about.
It was a miserable childhood.
Still doesn't make much sense in the clip, but whatever. All right, go ahead,
Bad Bunny, what do you got?
All right, so here we go.
Put your fucking cigarettes out on someone else.
Oh, this one.
Consequences for your actions. That's it. Shut up, fat ass. Yeah, you got me there. You're a flower. Every other man I know, every other relation I know, there's man. It's like, oh, yeah, shit. You go for the flower every single time you get in. You're a fucking
Ouch. That hurt.
What was that? You're a fucking what? Cunt?
Yeah, I personally don't like saying bad words. I run a G-rated show, but you know what? Yeah.
We're not on a G-rated show.
I was
Nobody
under
ever
the
said
impression
that.
that we couldn't curse on Fireside.
Wendy does.
No, you can. You can politely curse.
Okay.
You just
you can't curse
tastefully done. Oh no, of course not. Okay, wonderful.
Yes, you can use it as an as one of those words. Where it is an
Oh
adjective.
boy,
Yes, I don't know.
That's a slippery.
But
I'm not. It's a slippery whore. Nope. Whoops.
I'm not a big user of words either, but Wendy loves it, so it's fine. We balance each other out.
We do. When you work in LA and in the world that I work in, it is a matter of expression, and that's simply it. If you don't use the F word, especially very powerful women, they look at you like, what?
Right. No, I know. I have people that I know that are like, it's just another word. And as a matter of fact, it's the most versatile word in the English language.
Right. You can put it in between, before, and after anything.
Right. It can be every part of speech. So,
it's fucking beautiful or it's fucking awful.
So back to this clip. Something that stood out for me was what he said to her. And I was like, wow. Like, she was like, oh, wow, you really got me there. And that's when, we aim for the low blow of weight. And he called her a fat, ass as she was walking. And that's, I mean, if somebody came at me like that, that's like to the.
Well, in all honesty, while I don't condone it, I don't think it was right. I just don't think any of the name calling is okay. In that clip was also the part where he realized that she was taping things, and in that section. And you don't just start it's suspect when you just start taping things, when now you're the only one who knows and somebody else just is figuring it out on the fly right now. But the other thing is, she's not a fat ass. So is she self-conscious of that? I don't know. Because like if it was me and I was fit and somebody called me that, I'd be like, well, my butt's my best asset, like, so what, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that might be off completely, but maybe not. I don't know.
I think they're both. Love it. They're both dysfunctional. Let's put it this way. They're both super dysfunctional human beings. They bought into each other's love nest. There's a certain thing that comes with responsibility that comes along with being a celebrity and having fandom and all of that, right? That even down to the stupid the guy that did Subway, right? Remember the guy that did Subway and he lost all that weight?
Jared or whatever.
Yeah, and then he was a child molester or child pornographer, got caught for that. And
Yeah.
it's the celebrity. It goes a lot of different ways. It's not just movie stars, right?
Yeah.
Celebrity is celebrity, and maybe we just put too much expectations on other people. They're all just human beings, trying to live their best life, I suppose. And we just don't understand that when they don't live up to our kind of unreasonable expectations.
Well, and I mean, my point here is that I don't expect either one of them to be perfect. I don't think Johnny Depp is perfect, but the bottom line is that they truthfully, if you ask me, they both need to get some counseling and healing going on over there. But they're not going to be able to heal together because they're completely toxic with each other. But just because you're dysfunctional and just because you need to heal and just because you have these issues does not make you an abuser. That's really the point here. And in this case, that's the point. The point is this is a defamation case. And in this case, that means Amber, who is the defendant, has to prove that she was actually physically abused. I know they went into, oh, well, there's a lot of different types of abuse, and they drew that out of Johnny. There are a lot of different types of abuse, but which one of those things are criminal enough to be defamation? Because some parts of that are just not considered criminal.
Well, she's defamed him because she made reference to him in the 2018 op-ed that she wrote, and she claimed it was in defense of all of the women for Me Too and domestic violence. She did not name Johnny Depp. She made reference to her situation, which he then is now claiming because of that letter reopened the can of worms and made it so he lost gigs. And, so he's now suing her for defamation of his character due to that article that she wrote.
Right. No, I get that. And she's countersuing.
So she doesn't have to prove. Nobody has to prove battery or anything like that. They just have to prove defamation.
Right. But
of intent to defame.
Right. But in the defamation in this particular case, it had to do with domestic violence. And for something to be considered domestic violence, it has to be more than words. You have to threaten somebody with bodily harm with a weapon, or you have to actually do bodily harm. It's not just words. He can call her whatever name she wants. She can call him names that would not be considered.
Doesn't fall under the umbrella of domestic violence.
No, it does not.
Right. And but I don't know that does that really have anything to do with a defamation?
In this case, it does, because the whole thing that she's brought against him is that he was abusive. That's what the Me Too movement's about. She filed a restraining order.
Now we should do a show on Me Too movement, because the Me Too movement isn't really about abuse. It's abuse of power and abuse of things like that. I happen to agree 50% with Me Too and 50% not with Me Too, by the way, because I come from that world of it was normal to go to work and have somebody tell me my ass looked nice. Mm-hmm. And if I went to work and nobody told me my ass looked nice that day, I was like, what is wrong with me? Right. So no, but it's the truth. Right. Mm-hmm. And it didn't offend me. For me, it was a compliment. Mm-hmm. And I was in my 20s. This was like in the 70s. Right. And it was fine. There's a lot of things. I would never blow a whistle on the man I worked for in business management for entertainers, basically, nor any of the entertainers that, maybe thought I was cute too, right? I just would not do that to them. So Me Too is not domestic or abuse.
No, it's just it's a piece of it.
It's abuse of power. Basically against women. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Anyway, and then I think another thing that was brought up with this is that the specific piece that they're going against has to do with the online version of this article, which was the same exact article that was published, but the headline included sexual abuse.
Oh, really?
And
The
yeah,
original article by was it the Washington Post?
whatever this, whoever published this, yes, the online article had a different headline. So same exact article, but a different headline, which she's saying she had nothing to do with. She didn't create the headline. She just wrote the article.
Right.
And
Well,
so
that's probably true, though. That I would say
right,
that that's true.
but still, like, goes to, okay, so that goes to, then the issue is, then if that proves to be true, then I do think he has to go against the magazine or or the Washington Post, because
But
you
he doesn't
added a
care
whole
about that.
different
So
level.
he's not. He doesn't care about that. He wants to set the record straight that she is. It's not okay what she's done.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
he just wants his career back. He wants to be the actor
And
that he
really,
was.
he's the victim, not she.
That's
really,
right.
Truly, that's what
That's
it's
it.
looking like, is that he's the victim, and not her. And they're throwing around a lot of mutual domestic violence, mutual IPV, and I think really that's not what they call it anymore. And I got to go look it up. I had the term and I can't remember what it is, but the point is that the reciprocal, right? So, like she said, fair game. You did it, I did it, right? So, who's
Well, that's
right,
kind of
who's
like you
wrong?
punched me first, or you punched me in the eye, so I punched you in the
Well,
nose, or
it's a slippery slope, mostly because in a truly abusive situation, the victim may have to defend themselves to some degree, or they
Right.
are just allowing themselves to get hurt.
Mhm.
So if you take that away from them and say, oh, well, he was punching you in the face, so you put your hands up and you pushed him, or you slapped him back, or you did what you had to do so that you could get him out of your way to run away, and he turns around and says, you slapped me, you punched me, you hit me, and then you call that mutual. It's not.
I think the whole thing, right now, I just kind of had this weird. Then we can maybe end the show. I just had this weird feeling, like, all throughout my body, because I don't like to relive that time of my life, right? And so
Yeah.
these things trigger me, and I start to think about them.
Mhm.
I don't ever remember defending myself against this animal. I don't, because I knew that I
Really?
couldn't. And if I even tried, I do remember sitting there and just letting him beat on the back of my head, and because they start to hit you in places where it can't be seen,
Right.
enough
Well,
with the
that's
black eyes,
always.
enough with the strangulation marks, enough with the big bruises on the inside of your thighs, which is pretty hard to get a bruise on the inside of your thigh
Mhm.
by hitting it against something.
Right.
And so it when I hear about him trying to, where they get in the scuffles and all of that stuff,
Mhm.
it just brings up, he's defending himself, but he's not creating the scuffle, right? He's not creating he's protecting himself. He's more
Right.
protecting himself, I think, than anything else, because it's brutal when you just have somebody that, I don't care if it's a woman or a man, just because he's a man doesn't mean he's stronger than her, or that she can't inflict as much damage on him,
Right. It doesn't matter if it's as much or if it's less, it's still damaging. And so if somebody's coming at you and hitting you and punching you and whatever, at some point you might grab that person's wrists and push them away so that you can go get into another room or walk out or go to the other hotel, because they had to book different hotel rooms, whatever it was, for him to leave. But his mode of operation, and this is testified by like pretty much everybody so far, was that he would leave. Even the
Yes.
tape, even the
He
audio
flew.
tapes.
It's a
he
fight
left.
or
He
fight and
was the
flight.
flight.
Fly,
He was
fight,
the
right.
flight.
So his character is to fly,
Right.
right? And my
Um,
character actually is to fly also. So I
Or-
would I like to leave when there's a confrontation. I don't want the confrontation. My husband's Italian. He thoroughly
He's a
enjoys the
fighter,
confrontation.
right. And I probably am a little bit more of a fighter too, I'm not going to let you keep doing something to me. I wouldn't instigate it. I would walk on eggshells to make sure it didn't happen, to appease, to talk my way around things so he didn't get upset about something. But if it happened, I wasn't going to allow myself to keep getting hurt physically if I could push you away and lock a door, or you know what I mean? I don't know. I never came at him. I've never punched him in his face or anything like that, but there was still some level
Then
of
Deanna, but
creating
also
separation from him.
Yeah, one begins to think about how pathetic, like Johnny Depp talks about it. I just started to believe that I was just a loser, right?
Of
His
course,
mother was telling him he was a
absolutely.
loser. She's telling him he's a loser. Vanessa never told him that. And he
No.
flourished and he, whatever. But that's the whole thing, is you start to believe that you're a loser. You can't do anything. So you stick around. Nobody wants you. It's a vicious cycle. This is where the narcissistic behavior comes in. The more I think about that woman, I can't stand her. The more I think about what happened to him,
Because
I start feeling too empathetic, and I get a little upset and
anxiety,
anxious.
right? Because it kills a person's spirit, and it's really hard to watch that. It's really hard to see that, and you're seeing it play out. And there's nobody who goes through this type of trauma who doesn't come out of it on the other end thinking that you're worthless, or trying to figure out, who are you? What happened to me? This is not who I am.
How could I let this happen to myself?
Or is it who I am? Because
Yeah.
your mind starts playing tricks on you because somebody else is giving you this rhetoric that keeps repeating itself and proving to be true somehow, that you start to believe it. And then you have all this other, he's got a lot of work ahead of him, but the biggest work is getting this over with so that he can hopefully get back to his craft. Because for him, it's not just money, it's not just a job. People who are artists and people who are creators, this is what they need to feel fulfilled.
I really felt for him today, and I'll just, if we can end it with this note, is that I felt for him today when he was explaining about the finger, how ridiculous it is to think that he would have cut his own finger off because he was given the gift, the God-given gift, to be able to play the guitar. Right. And that he said when his blood was seeping out of his finger or whatever, all he could think about was that, thank God it's the right hand and not the left hand, because he would have had to learn to play the guitar all over again. And he said, so it's just so absurd to even think that, why would I mutilate myself? And, it's just, the whole story is such a crazy exaggeration.
Right. The only thing that brought him solace, the only thing that brought him peace, and the only thing he turned to when he would retreat
was his music.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, so I would cut off my finger. And it was because in a text he said he would cut off his other finger. And I just look at people and go like, have you guys never heard parables or metaphors where, hey, don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. If this thing makes you, if your eye, scriptures, if your eye makes you stumble, cut it out. I mean, you're not really going to cut
the
your
interpretation. You're not really going to cut your eye out.
Cut your eye out. It's telling you that, it's saying, here's the importance of what you're right. It's the importance of what you're trying to convey. You're not saying, oh yeah, I'm going to cut my other finger off.
It's how we tell stories. It's how you get points across, right? It's like, I have a habit of saying things like I'll always say something like, if I hear that one more freaking time, I'm going to shoot myself in the head. Now, okay, that could go in a text message somewhere. I'm sure I have said that several times to my friends, and they all know that I'm not going to shoot myself in my head. It's just to the point of exaggeration where, okay, I can't take it any longer. I'm going to shoot myself.
Honestly, Wendy, we could look at our text this weekend and people would read it and they would not be able, they would try to construe something out of it because there's voice text, then you're texting, then you call, then you pick up the phone and call me and you're like, oh God, it's too much to talk about when we could just be talking to each other. Why do we have to keep texting? You cannot get the full scope of what anybody's saying in a text message. Not only do you not hear the tone or the feelings behind it, you can't get the whole thing. I guarantee you, if they're fighting, there's texting and talking going on, and you don't know the part that you don't know.
The bottom line is, who was pushing, like for all the attorneys that there are, no one ever says in the courtroom, well, this text was recorded by Miss Heard, right, on this date. It's like all we're doing is listening to these recordings. And I was like you, I was like, well, who's recording this stuff? You're right. I mean, and why? I've rarely recorded. I record my doctors. That's it.
But I mean, I was wondering that too until, because I'm like, what is this? Is this recordings from some video cameras in the house? What do we?
Yeah.
Who's recording it? Until I heard the testimony, till heard them play the one today that had the clip in it that he called her out because he saw that she was recording, and she told him in the recording, she owned up to it, like, yeah, I wasn't trying to hide it from you. Yes, you were. And then she's like, if you ask me to stop, I'll stop. And he said, I don't give a care. Record all you want.
Well, here's the, at the end of the day,
analyst said after that, like, well, that's suspicious. Like, so you just started recording everything? Well, if you know that and he doesn't know that, you totally can set him up. That's a setup. It's suspicious because
right,
it's
exactly.
a setup.
But they still allow it in court.
Yeah,
well, it's discovery. They've all agreed to it. So anything that they're allowing, I see how smart I sound. Don't I sound like an attorney? And there's discovery.
Yeah, you smell like an attorney. You smell
Thank you.
just like one.
I'm sure I do. After this past hour and a half and the whole day of trying to do my funny clips, and then I screw it up. God.
So,
okay, I'll have them for tomorrow, maybe.
Well, I got one final clip. As we close out the show, it's
Bad
very
Bunny to the
short,
rescue. Go.
just edited right now on a fly.
Oh, good for you. Go.
Donated my jizz to for a while, staying there. Is the slippery whore donated my jizz to for a while,
So that's the highlight of today's thing.
Play that one again, though. I didn't hear I heard Slippy Whore, then I laughed and I didn't hear the rest.
Okay.
That's all I
the
really
slippery whore that I donated my jizz to is the slip.
Oh, right.
When did he say that?
That was, I believe, before the first recess. I'm assuming.
Today?
Oh my God.
Dale, can we get a date on that? But
that is so funny.
But that's just one of many things. And I just want to have your take on this. I mean, you're saying it's funny. I was raised not to refer to women in such a derogatory term. I think that this case has, I was expecting a war of the sexes. Women were going to be on this side, men were going to be on this side, but that's not what I saw. Ironically, like one of the things that my fiance, that I asked my fiance was, are you saying all women are crazy? And she said, no, that's not a fair assessment. I'm saying she is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look, women can see through other women.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's a thing. And the other part of it is, and this is the reason why I said to Wendy, and we kind of were like, we started talking about this and we're like, we got to do a show, because we're coming from the perspective of survivors. And even with that perspective, it's not about being jaded against some guy or being jaded against men. It's about the fact that whether you're male or female, you do not deserve abuse. You don't deserve abuse. And unfortunately, we know it when we see it because we lived it.
And it's not something that other people can even fathom, right? You can't fathom what it's like.
I will be surprised if her testimony changes that for me. I'm going to try to stay open. I mean, look, I think Johnny has a very loyal fan base, but I think that is for a reason. I think that people who become super fans of somebody do the work to dig into and see their lives and stuff. You've been close enough to know him when he was younger and kind of even see parts of his personality and that side of him. I had one little experience that involved Johnny Depp, and that was my ex-husband is in a bar somewhere in California, and the man, he's like, I see Johnny Depp, he's here. And and he's talking to me and my daughter, and he said, I'm going to go see if he'll get on the phone with me. I'm going to call you back. So he calls me back, and sure enough, hands the phone over to him. It's totally Johnny. There's no way you can fake that voice, right? And here's how I know it's totally Johnny. We talk. He gets on the phone with my daughter. He says, hey, how you doing? Does all the things that an 11-year-old kid would want to hear, and tells her that he's going to send her some stuff from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. My husband then, after they get off the phone, writes our address. My husband's living in California and I'm living in Louisiana. Writes our address on a bar napkin, a cocktail napkin, and a book and pictures arrive, and some little trinkets that came with it arrive at my house a week later.
Mm-hmm.
So this man in a bar took time to call an 11-year-old and then kept that address and handed it off to somebody. I was like, there's no way we're going to see anything. He's not going to, he's not going to.
I know, but isn't that weird to have such a stereotype and judgmental thing of people who are just because they're actors?
Well, I lose my license in a bar. I'm not keeping a bar napkin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even expect him to keep track of it, but he did. He took enough effort to keep track of some stupid napkin and bring it to whoever his PR people are to get it sent out.
He talks a lot about when his daughter was sick, and he talks about a lot of things that he does for people and stuff. There's this beautiful side to him. And that is something that is innate, I think, in an individual, and it's not, they do it because they genuinely appreciate what their stature in life has brought them. Right. And they're able to do it. It's like he didn't have to pay for his, friend to live in the penthouse for 3 years and be able to paint and enjoy his art and craft. And he was forever grateful for that. And they tried to make him out to be, like, well, don't you owe something? Don't you owe something to Mr. Depp?
With him.
Right.
He still lives at a house on the Sweetser. I guess he's got maybe a mother-in-law suite or something, but he still lives with him.
So these are very loyal people that have, the sound guy, he's paid through the production companies, everybody. He's paid by union. It's different rates all the time. You can't but at the end of the day, you learn to trust somebody in production, and you are going to want to make sure that they are always working with you on every production that you're on, period. I do the same thing.
And they are going to have the loyalty because of that. You don't just have it because he of his stature. There's a lot of people who are famous and people leave, they jet because they're mistreated. They remain loyal to him because they know his character, and they're treated with respect and dignity and generosity. It's not a crime. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to be able to do. So I just, and I get that people are, loyal to that degree. And that's why I say, okay, well, I feel like there's a lot of his character that has been shown even more so now. And I don't know how she comes back from that. She doesn't come off good sitting in the audience. She doesn't come, I don't know, it's not an audience. She doesn't come good sitting there watching it. So how is she going to come off when she gets on the stand? I'm interested. I'm more intrigued to see her testimony, actually.
I'm very intrigued to see her testimony, and I'm very intrigued to see the cross-examination. And so that's where we'll leave it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Deanna, thank you so much for taking the time, Bad Bunny and Dale. And hopefully tomorrow I will be able to have my clippage done properly.
All right. Either way, I think we're going to start a backup for that too, just in case.
Yeah, because it was like I had some of the funniest shit put together, like strung together. So how come I couldn't do it? I was like on one computer on my GarageBand. I had it all done. I saved it to the iCloud. I came over to my laptop and I wanted to just import the GarageBand project so that see, and then I couldn't
Yeah.
import the project from the iCloud into my. Now there's a way to do it. I know there is a way to do it. I've done it in the
There's
past.
definitely a way to do it because I know Danny does it too between
Yeah.
the computer and the iPad.
But I screwed it up. So, but you know, all my work is still there, so I'll have more time to work on it.
Bad Bunny, on some of your clips, the music that, you know, like your sound effects that came through over it or with it were a little louder than the speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I noticed that.
I love the long pauses with the crickets, but you know, but
I didn't hear that.
Yes, but you might need to lower it
Yeah.
a little bit so that when they start talking again. But yes,
Mhm.
it's good stuff.
Well, all these clips were done on a fly right now. I'm
love
like
it.
putting them together, and it's like, you know, you couldn't really hear through. But
amazing
I just want to
job. I'm
thank
not
you.
criticizing the job. Believe me, we couldn't manage it.
No, let's
we
come.
tried all
let's-
day and we didn't get it done.
Improv 2. One quick question as we leave, and you can answer tomorrow. This will give everyone an incentive to tune in, and that's the age difference of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. But let's talk
What
about
is
that
the age
tomorrow.
difference?
It's
Oh, it's 12 years.
Oh, okay.
It's more than
Yeah.
12, right? I thought she was 35 and he's 58. Is that 12?
He's not 58.
Yeah,
Is
he
he?
Yeah, he is. He's 58.
Oh, he is. Oh, okay. See, that's
So 45,
that's about 12.
55, it's 20.
Carry the one. Yeah.
20 something
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
It's 23,
All right. Yeah.
23 years.
23. All right. That's a question that we should examine.
No, it's a legitimate
overnight
question.
and
We'll
talk.
talk about that tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, tomorrow, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Bad Bunny. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Deanna. It is 9:30 here, so it is very late where you guys are.
I am. It's 11:30
Thanks
and I got
for
a 6 a.m.
Thanks for tuning in. So we'll have another very exciting show tomorrow.